All right, folks, welcome to your Honors Algebra 2 Chapter 1 test review video here, folks. Your test is tomorrow, Friday, September the 9th. Hopefully this video sound quality is good, not moving the mic at all, keeping it stationary. Hopefully it does not give that awful screech sound. Today we are brought to you by Tazo Zen Tea. Tazo Zen Tea is our sponsor for this first page. Guys, on page 1, you got to be like Glade and plug it in, plug it in. Nothing kills the smell of a freshman boy quite like Glade plug-in. Pumpkin spice season is upon us. A is -5, B is -3, C is 4. Plug it in as such, folks. -7 times 4 on the outside. Use brackets. Again, brackets are just like parentheses with muscles. Perform the inner work here on the parentheses. -2 times -5 plus 12. This is going to be plus 12. You're going to have -28 times 2, -56. Guys, on 2, just worry about the numerator with the -5 minus 4 gives you -9, which you'll quadruple to get -36. Be very careful on the b squared part. -3 squared is a +9, which you are going to triple first. You're not going to do 3 times -3 and square that. 27 on the bottom, you can write your answer as -36 over 27, or as -4/3, or as -1.3 repeating. On number 3, plug it in, you got 17 times 4 minus 13 times -5. That is 68. 8 plus 65 all over 60. Get 133 over 60, or 2.216 repeating. All right, scrolling down here, guys, 4 and 5 simplify. It's all about distribution. 5 times 3x minus 5 times 6y minus 3 times 7y. Then you got to be careful here. You have a -3 times a -4x. That's a positive 12x. This is time for Match.com here. Too many x's. Combined your x's. 15 and 12 gives you 27x minus 51y. All right, on 5, be very careful with the fractions. You can do 4/5 like this in your calculator times 20. 4/5 of 20 is 16. 4/5 of 15 is 12. Minus half of 20 is 10. Half of 10 is 5. Combine like terms, 11x minus 22y. Next part, solve for y. I made 6b different, so maybe jot down 6b as you see it here. Big old hint, hint, wink, wink. That is what your test could look like for 6b. All right, with a, you want to multiply both sides by 3 first, then subtract x and divide by 2. Again, we want y all by itself. 6b here, multiply. First, you're going to add 2 to both sides. Add 2 to both sides to get 8 right here. Again, I changed it. Multiply both sides by -5. We're going to subtract x then, and then divide by 3. So really make sure you know how to do something like 6b. All right, moving on to the next page. Next page, we think Caldi, natural, high, organic, and fair trade coffee. Distribute negative times a negative is a positive 21. Combine the x's, -6x plus 6 is 90. Subtract 6 and divide by -6, you get x is -14. Add 7/9 to 5/9. 5 plus 7 is 12. You can add the fractions because you have the same denominator. 12/9 x minus 4 is 12. 12/9 x is equal to 16. Multiply both sides by 9. You got 12x is equal to 144. X is 12. On 9, just distribute. All right, you get 18x minus 9 minus 8 plus negative times a negative is a positive. 2/3 of 3 is the definition of 2 out of 3. It is 2. Combine your x's. Combine your like terms. You got 20x minus 17 is 5. 20x is 22. X is 1.1. Guys, here you want to add 1/3 to both sides. You can do that because you have 7/3. You have the same denominator. Makes addition easy. 5 over x equals 8 over 3. Cross multiply. You got 8x is equal to 15. You can write x as 15 over 8, or 1.875. Sorry for the smudge here on 11. Permanent marker bleeds through. All right, distribute. Negative times a negative, you get a positive right here. A lot of distribution. 10x plus 4x is 14x. I was 35 in debt, lost 12 more. Minus 47, that equals 5x minus 40. Subtract 5x from both sides, then you're going to add 47. You get 9x is 7. X is 7/9. You got 2.5 and 4.5 with the x's. Subtract 2.5 from 4.5. You have 2x on the right side. Subtract the 7 from -4. You got -11 is 2x. Your answer is equal either -11 over 2 or -5.5. All right, 13 and 14, you're going to plug it in as well. We are brought to you on this page by Coffee Espresso, a lovely small-town coffee shop, Coffee Espresso. Plug -5 in for B, 10 in for C, -3 in for A, and 10 in for C. Again, work inside the absolute value bars. You get -25 in this absolute value. You're going to get a -36 in this. What comes out of the absolute value is always positive. If you live 25 miles from the tracks on the left side, you're still 25 miles away. Positive 25 plus positive 36 is 61. 4C is going to stay on the outside. 40 is going to stay there until we're done with the absolute value here. 2A plus a negative plus B plus a -5 is really subtracting. You have -6 minus 5 is -11. Positive 11 comes out from the absolute value. 5 times 11 is 55. Add that to 40, you get 95. Guys, with the absolute value, you always have two solutions. If I live 6 miles from the tracks, I could be 6 to the right, +6, or I could be 6 to the left, -6. That's right, why I have two equations here. I'm in hashtag go time. 3x minus 7 is 12, or 3x minus 7 is -12. Add 7 to both sides and divide by 3 to get your two answers. Notice it says check your solutions. That's going to be key on 18. Guys, do not divide everything by -4. Here also you're going to have some decimals to work with within your equation. We have not had those yet. It's not going to happen. Subtract 15 first, then divide by -4. You are in hashtag go time. 3x plus 2, or 3x plus 5 is 2. 3x plus 5 is a -2. Subtract 5 from both sides and divide by 3. All right, folks, on 17, we are going to add 10 to both sides first. And then divide by -6. You're going to get 4x plus 1 in the absolute value is equal to 3. It is go time for that. 4x plus 1 is 3. 4x plus 1 is a -3. You get your two solutions. Guys, when you have x's on both sides of the equation, you got to make sure that the answer you gets a acceptable statement. You can't have a number come outside of the absolute value and produce a negative. So we drop the absolute value. We're in go time here. X plus 7 is 2x minus 3, or x plus 7 equals the opposite of what you have on the right side, -2x plus 3. Solve both equations. Subtract x and then add 3. You get x is 10. We'll check that in a sec. Add 2x and subtract 7, you get 3x is -4, x is a -1.3 repeating. Now anytime you have an x on the right side, you need to plug in your solution right here. If I plug in 10, I get 2 times 10 minus 3, I get a +17. I can have a number come outside of the absolute value and be a +17, that is good. Let's take a look at -1.3 repeating. If I plug it in right here, I get a negative like 5.6 repeating. I can't have a number come outside of an absolute value and give me a negative. That is called an extraneous solution. That solution doesn't count. So be careful on your test tomorrow. You will be held accountable for that. You need to know what an extraneous solution is. Guys, 19 through 22, you see no absolute value, so it's only one solution. Add 5x to both sides, then subtract 10. You get 10 is less than 8x. Divide both sides by 4. This should be 5 over 4, cut off. Or x is bigger than 1 1/4. Make sure you distribute correctly here. -14x plus 35 greater than or equal to -24 minus 7x. I'm going to add 14x to the other side. Then I'm going to add 24 to the left. 59 is greater than 7x. X is less than or equal to 59 over 7. Or x is less than or equal to 8.4. All right, last page here. You want to make sure to multiply both sides by 5. -20x plus 45 is less than 7 minus 2x. Add 20x to both sides, and let's see, we found our first boo-boo here, folks. We have a -2x, so make sure you make this correction, because again, my pen can't pick up on this video. When you add 20 to a negative 2, you're actually going to get 18. We had this answer right in class, so it's going to be 38 is less than 18. X, it's 2.1, not 1.9 is less than x. X is greater than 2.1. Again, make that correction. Here, cross multiply, but make sure the 4x minus 9 stays on the left. It is currently less than or equal to this on the right. Multiply 4x minus 9 by 5. Multiply 5 minus 3x by 6. Make sure to distribute, add the 18x over to this side, add 45 here. You're going to get 38x is less than or equal to 75. X is less than or equal to 75 over 38. That's like 1.97. Lastly, folks, 23, 24, and 23 and 24 both have absolute values, so you're going to have two different solutions. We are in go time on 23. Negative 4x minus 1 greater than or equal to 6. Negative 4x minus 1 less than or equal to negative 6. When you multiply an inequality by a negative, don't forget to flip the sign. On both of these, add 1, then divide by 4. Notice how the sign flipped right here because we divided by a negative. Notice how the sign flipped here. We divided by a negative. Sometimes you have to do the double flip like we did in 23. In 24, you want to make sure to add 7 to both sides. You're going to get 5 times this absolute value is less than 50. Then divide by 5. 2x plus 1 is less than 10. We are in go time. We got this inequality here. We got 2x plus 1 is greater than negative 10. On both, subtract 1, then divide by 2. This would be an OR statement. You can be less than 4.5 and greater than negative 5.5. And the last two, you want to make sure to distribute here on 25. 15 minus 5x. Subtract 15 from all three regions. And then negative 5 is less than negative 5x, which is less than 20. Divide everything by negative 5. When you divide by negative 5, you got to make sure to flip the inequality signs. 1 is greater than x, which is greater than negative 4. Or negative 4 is less than x, which is less than 1. And on the last one, make sure to distribute the 2 to the x and the 11. You got x's in all three regions. You only want the x in the middle, so subtract an x everywhere. You're going to have negative 17 is less than x, plus 22, which is less than 31. And your final step is to subtract this 22 from all three regions. Negative 39 is less than x, which is less than 9. This is your Chapter 1 test review. This is 90.9, the quadratic, signing out.